Welcome to Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Air Check and Classic TV channel.
You will then have the opportunity to listen to the Imus in the Morning program.
Yeah, gotta have rules.
I was getting to the rules. You may listen to the Imus in the Morning program if you adhere to the following rules.
All right, and ironclad.
And here with those rules is heavyweight champ Mike Tyson.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
No, I'm not. I'm not Mr. Trump.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Rule number 9. Don't be throwing stuff out the studio windows.
Champ, put a sock on
I
him.
learned from experience.
Let me do this.
Let me handle it.
All right, let me do this. Number 9. Do not waste Imus in the Morning's time with small talk.
Yeah, right.
He is not happy traveling to Queens. He is not happy being in Queens. And any time spent chatting with you will only prolong his stay in Queens.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Number 10. Remember at all times, your personal life is not private. We can and will utilize any information we learn about you, no matter how humiliating, for our own amusement.
WFAN is moving to 66 on the AM dial, the home of Imus in the Morning.
I wonder if the people who now work at WFAN understand that we are really serious about that their personal lives simply become fodder for and a source of humor and ridicule for the Imus in the Morning program.
Well, I'm sure
Much as your life.
it won't
has
take
been
them long to figure it out.
Been through the years. So it's best not to let me find out anything.
It's best. I will tell anyone this who's listening. Never tell him anything that you don't want on the air, because even if you say, don't talk about this, it gets on the air. And that is from the voice of experience. And it's been a sad lesson that I've had to learn.
Here with the latest from the WNBC Traffic and Transit Network is a woman who used to sleep with everyone at the radio station. Roz
And
Frank.
loved every minute of it,
Yeah.
may I say.
And it's sponsored by, did I say that? 9X Mobile Communications. Good morning, Miss Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. Here's what's happening. In Rockland County, shadow reporting southbound New York State Freeway heavy now for 4 miles to the Tappan Zee Bridge. That due to some right lane construction. Still very heavy on the eastbound Staten Island Expressway going to the Verrazano Bridge. Very heavy in Brooklyn on the inbound Gowanus going into the Battery and up the northbound lower BQE. We had a tie-up southbound BQE by Queens Boulevard. Very heavy leaving the Grand Central. Coming in from New Jersey, the crossings are heavy. Lincoln and Holland, 20, 25, 30-minute delays. Inbound George Washington Bridge, a little less for you than that. And heavy on the West Side Highway, backed up from just around 79th down to 56th Street. More traffic and transit, just about 10 minutes on WNBC.
Hi, this is Don Cricky. Here's why you should have your mobile phone installed at a 9X installation center.
3 hours? Harry's Phones on Wheels can do it in an hour.
Sure, but we fit our mobile phones to you, not the other way around.
You mean 9X does a custom installation?
Absolutely. Look, reach out with your hand.
Yeah.
Is that where you be picking?
We make sure your antenna is mounted correctly, put the transceiver where you want it, tuck wiring under carpets and moldings, and hook up the power to your battery, not your fuse box, for safety and better reception. 9X gives you a custom installation and full warranty protection.
Wow, what's that thing?
Our electronic test unit simulates actual calling conditions on your mobile phone and will give you a printout of your phone's performance.
Visit your authorized 9X dealer today and get your mobile phone custom installed at a 9X installation center. Call 1-800-443-BELL or look for us in the 9X Yellow Pages. For mobile communications, the answer is 9X.
British Airways wants me to tell all you globe-trotting Americans that it's high time to take off on one of their superb European holidays. Now 10% off for a limited time. What a perfectly splendid offer, I said. The British Isles wreathed in golden harvest light. Europe replete with echoes of the ancients. Yes, charming, they said, but what in fact we've got to communicate is that British Airways has hundreds of flexible European land arrangements at 10% off. London, Paris, Dublin, Rome, 10% off. Theatres, hotels, transport, 10% off. Well, I'm pleased to report that we've reached a compromise. For hard facts and figures on British Airways holidays at 10% off, call your travel agent or 1-800-876-2200 right now. However, for 10% off a radiant European sojourn, call 1-800-876-2200 at a quiet moment when inspiration tugs at your sleeve, and not a moment sooner. You must book and pay for your holiday by October 31st. Other significant restrictions apply.
Now, you say this Acura Legend is the #1 car in owner satisfaction?
That's right, sir. 2 years in a row.
And you want to give me a deal on it?
That's right. It's our great year-end leasing deal.
But if this Legend is so popular, you should be raising the price, not lowering it.
Well, you see, then it might not be so popular.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
But I thought you said this Legend won Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year.
Oh, it did.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Didn't you say this Legend was named one of Car and Driver's 10 best?
Oh, yes. It was also named one of Road and Track's 10 best.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch. You can drive away with a brand new Acura Legend.
I can drive away.
That's right.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch.
Where's the catch?
There's no catch. Just show me your driver's license.
Aha!
Aha!
There's the catch.
That's not a catch.
There's the catch.
That's not a catch.
There's the catch.
That is not a catch.
There's the catch.
Visit your Tri-State Acura dealer for a great leasing deal on a brand new Acura Legend. No catch. Acura. Cars for people who know better.
5 till 9, Imus in the morning. WNBC weather, sunny, cool, high in the 50s, 46. Now New York. WNBC.
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour to see you and I.
WNBC, it's 3 minutes till 9, Imus in the morning. There's an article in Daily News this morning. Shirley MacLaine was on David Letterman's show on Tuesday night, and he wanted to interview her about her past lives, and she didn't want to respond, and because he was sort of interested in, which I think might have been kind of funny, but apparently she didn't think so. She called him something icky, and apparently it didn't work out, and she left. She doesn't have all of the surfboard in the water. It's going to be sunny and cool today, high in the upper 50s. We probably just talked about that going into this Wilson Pickett record. And here it comes again. It's almost like INS, isn't it? It's 46 degrees now in New York. It's going to be up in the upper 50s.
A lazy morning spent with you is all I'm hoping for.
We'll put some coffee on and throw the light on the door, so it's just you and me, and the table set for two. That's the good to the last drop feeling of Maxwell House and you.
Right from the first fresh aromatic cup in the morning, Maxwell House coffee always tastes rich. Cup after cup, that's coffee that's always good to the last drop.
That's the good to the last drop feeling of Maxwell House, only Maxwell House. That's the good to the last drop feeling of Maxwell House and
So, did you hear this, Charles? Shirley MacLaine called David Letterman an ass blank.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Why? Well, because he wanted to interview her about her past lives. I guess he wanted to talk to some of the people she was, which I think was a good idea.
I think it was, too. What's wrong with that? I thought she was very upfront and candid about all of that stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, she just said she didn't think she didn't think there was enough time to get into it on the Letterman show, which is an hour, by the way, which would seem like
plenty of time.
That'd be plenty of time to discuss it.
Was her book out on a limb or up a tree or something like that, in a bush or?
No, Shirley MacLaine, she's fine.
This is news from 66 WNBC, New York.
I'm Charles McCord. Here's what's happening at 9 o'clock. The name of the youngest man ever to be elected president of the United States, John Kennedy, figured prominently in the debate between the two vice presidential candidates last night. NBC's Bill Grudy reports on the exchange that's getting more attention than anything else, really, in the 90-minute debate between Dan Quayle and Lloyd Bentsen.
An hour into the debate, Quayle was questioned a fourth time about his fitness to take over the presidency.
I have as much experience in the Congress as Jack Kennedy did when he sought the presidency.
It was the opening Lloyd Bentsen was looking for.
Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Quayle's people call Benson's attack a cheap shot. Benson's insist that shows they scored. Bill Grudy, NBC Radio Network News, Omaha.
NBC political correspondent Ken Bodie says 41-year-old Dan Quayle comparing himself to John Kennedy is not as odd, though, as some might think.
Dan Quayle comparing himself to John F. Kennedy is interesting. When Kennedy first ran in 1960, many of his Senate colleagues considered his record to be undistinguished. Many in the press considered John F. Kennedy a man who'd gotten as far as he had, mainly on the strength of his good looks and on the money and influence of a wealthy father. So like Quayle, Kennedy did have something to prove.
Former Democratic vice presidential candidate Geraldine Ferraro, who once debated Walter Mondale, is one of the politicians offering opinions when all was said and done last night. She said Dan Quayle started strong, but then things kind of went downhill.
By the end, he had kind of lost it, and I thought he looked very unfocused at the end, and that is being objective. He looked as if he was anxious for it to be over, and having been in that position, I can well imagine that he was.
George Bush says his running mate Quayle did a superb job in his estimation and that he is very pleased. An ABC poll conducted right after the debate found most of the TV viewers interviewed thought Benson had won. Also in the headlines, the key witness in the Bess Meyerson divorce-fixing case may take the stand today. Secrete Gable was given a $19,000 a year job by Ms. Meyerson, and prosecutors charged that in return, Gable's mother agreed to reduce alimony payments for Meyerson's boyfriend. Gable says she'll testify that she let the FBI wiretap her telephone and that she ended up taping her own mother. Gable's mother is former State Supreme Court Justice Hortense Gable, who's on trial with Meyerson in Manhattan federal court. Secrete Gable says the FBI taped a conversation in which she discussed the federal investigation into the Meyerson case with her mother, the judge. The state grand jury report detailing evidence that Tawana Brawley's claims of abduction are a hoax is to be released half an hour from now. The New York Daily News reporting in today's editions that State Supreme Court Judge Angelo Ingrassia is to release the grand jury document 9:30 in the Dutchess County Courthouse. A 10-year-old girl from Michigan is in Panama today as the guest of Manuel Noriega. Sarah York became pen pals with the military leader several months ago and was invited to, hey, come on down. Sarah and her mother arrived last night. They're scheduled to meet Noriega today and will return home next Tuesday. Do you know where your children are? It's 9 o'clock. Anyway, the WNBC weather, mostly sunny and cool today. The high in the upper 50s. It's 45 degrees right now.
WNBC remembers 66 years of New York's most memorable radio.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
During our 66-year history, WNBC has brought America the sounds of the Great Depression and the battles of World War II, the boom of the 50s and the Reagan Revolution of the 80s. No doubt the decade filled with the most poignant memories for most of us were the 10 turbulent years of the 60s.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
One day right now in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream.
Something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade route. We understand it has been a shooting. The presidential car coming up now. We know it's the presidential car. You see Mr. Kennedy's pink suit as a Secret Service man
has just announced that President Kennedy died at approximately 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is about 30 minutes.
And I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
I smoke marijuana. I use LSD.
Luther King Jr. was shot outside a Memphis motel this afternoon.
All steps for man, one diabetes for man.
WNBC went to the moon and the Vietnam War, to Liverpool and to Watts. We brought you Rock and Dr. Spock. And the 60s were only one memorable page in our 66-year entry into the history books of broadcasting.
WNBC. 5 minutes after 9, Imus in the morning, and we're on the precipice of yet another change, aren't we?
Yep. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It really is. It's just like the end of an era. May I say?
And you'll be leaving the Imus in the morning program.
I'm leaving.
Because you are a greedy little munchkin.
Well, that's not true, but...
It is true.
No, it's not.
Oh, it is true. Let's not get into it now because it would...
Well, we won't get into it now.
It would degenerate into a horrible argument.
It will be a big fight. Yeah, you're right.
But I'm not going to forget this. It is a long road that has no turning.
But you're getting old and you're going to forget a lot.
No, I'm not going to forget. I'm still 40-something.
Yeah, well.
As long as I'm 40-something, when I'm 50 or 60-something, then we'll talk. If I can remember who you are. But I'm telling you now, something's going to come up and you're going to need my assistance, and the answer is going to be, but now remind me. If Roz ever wants anything from me, the answer is no.
I can only pray that I will never, ever be in that position.
Let's hope so.
I do.
Let's really hope so, because there are some people in broadcasting now who hosed me in the past, or tried to.
I've never hosed you.
No, you are now. You are hosing me now.
I'm not at all.
Except we're kind of up about this new babe we're getting. So we haven't met her yet, have we? Have we met her yet? No, we haven't met her. What do you mean about? I would know whether we've met her, don't we? Right. I think I broke my headphones.
She's coming over as soon as she's through testifying against her mother, isn't she?
But now, God. Now these are
your plug's loose.
What?
Your plug's loose.
It's a different plug on these. It's 7 after 9 Imus this morning. I'm just not going to forget, in other words. I mean, and there are people who have wanted my assistance, who tried to hose me in the past.
I've never tried to hose you.
Except I don't hold a grudge very well. In your case, I'll make an exception. Don Crick, you'll have the cars, and Roz will have the... Don Crick, you'll have the sports stuff. And you'll have the cars. And it's all coming up.
Everybody's chickens are approved by the government, but only my chickens are approved by me. And my quality standards are higher than the government's. You can find a government grade A tag on a chicken that's loaded with imperfections, but you won't find a Purdue grade A tag on any chicken that's less than perfect. In fact, my graders reject more than 25% of the chickens government graders accept as grade A. That's because the government is out to make sure the chicken you eat is acceptable. I'm out to make sure the chicken you eat is the best chicken you can eat. And that's why it's worth paying a little more for a chicken with a Purdue tag. Besides, if you're not completely satisfied with my chicken, you can always write me, the president of Purdue, and I'll give you your money back. If you buy some government-approved chicken and you're not completely satisfied, who do you write? The president of the United States? What does he know about chicken?
When it comes to chicken, Frank Purdue's even tougher than you are. It has to be, because every one of his chickens comes with his money back. One of his comes with his money back guarantee. Takes a tough man to make them tender chickens, Purdue. All Gristedes and Red Apple supermarkets, plus Acme supermarkets, and them fresh Purdue turkey parts. I'll say, I gotta love them turkey parts. Just gonna put my hands all over them turkey breasts. I love them turkey breasts. So
that time of year.
Yeah. So I love stuffing the turkey, and that's supposed to be a unique way.
God. A special basting.
Yeah. You come up and I can baste and stuff your bird, baby. Here's Roz with the car stuff. Good morning, Miss Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. Here's what's happening. Again, a very heavy morning at the inbound Highland Tunnel using 1 and 9. Certainly use the Turnpike extension if you're heading that way. A little bit less of a wait for you at the Lincoln, about a 20-minute wait. The inbound George Washington Bridge, not bad, but still heaviest approaches coming from express and local lanes of 80-95. Westbound Grand Central, westbound LIE, normally heavy through Queens, still very heavy on the southbound upper BQE, getting to and over the Cos, and southbound New York State Thruway, very heavy now for 4 miles onto the Tappan Zee Bridge. That due to some right lane construction. More traffic and transit in just about 10 minutes on WNBC.
The radio psychic, you're on the air.
Hello.
I'm getting strong job signals from you. Quit your job, paint in watercolors, paint horses.
You think so?
You're on the air.
Hello. I have...
You've been made a wonderful offer, financial.
That's right.
I'm getting a name, a city, New York.
Right.
The New York Times, you've been offered a home?
No.
Home delivery. You've been offered home delivery of the New York Times.
That's it.
I'm getting a 20
this
here.
Is amazing.
Home delivery of the Times for $2.20 a week?
For the first 20 weeks, right. That's their best offer ever.
Is there a 7 in your life?
I get the Times delivered 7 days a week for 20 weeks. For only $2.20 a week, I get all those great sections like Science Times, Living, Weekend.
And the Sunday Times, too. I'm picking up numbers. 1-800, now concentrate here, 1-800-631-2500.
Right.
1-800-631-2500. For home delivery of the New York Times, new subscribers only.
This is giving me chills.
I'm getting a strong travel signal.
Really?
Yeah, you must quit your job. Move to Tahiti, learn to play the flute, grow vanilla.
She's very good. What's up?
Just saw your friend George Maxine from the Daily News walking outside here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we call him in and ask him why he misquoted me?
He didn't misquote.
He did misquote me.
No, he didn't.
Oh, fool. It's 11 after 9. Imus in the morning. Here with the latest from the world of sports is Don Cricket. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Don. The New York Knicks are in the news. Not the way they'd like to be. Their fine point guard, Mark Jackson, who was NBA Rookie of the Year last season, wants his contract renegotiated. The Knicks say no, and the proposed deal that would bring forward Kiki Vandeweghe to the Knicks from Portland for a first-round draft choice is apparently falling apart. That projected deal, the owner of the Trailblazers wants more than the Knicks are ready to give. The long National Hockey League season begins tonight and ends 7 or 8 months from now. The Rangers are at Chicago tonight. The Devils play at Philadelphia, and the Islanders are at Calgary. The Forum in Los Angeles is sold out for hockey. Usually only the basketball Lakers sell out the Forum. But Wayne Gretzky debuts as an L.A. King when they play Detroit. The American League playoffs continue tonight at Boston. Roger Clemens goes for the Red Sox as they try to even this series with the Oakland A's. The A's, as you've heard, won yesterday 2-1. It was nervous in the 9th inning, though, when the best reliever in the American League, Dennis Eckersley, faced the best hitter in baseball, Wade Boggs, with men on first and second, and Oakland holding to a 1-run lead. Eckersley struck him out, but for manager Tony La Russa, it was a tough thing to watch.
I hope that's the last time this series that we have to go through that, because that's not a good way to have to beat the Red Sox. But Stu made the one pitch to strike him out. Honeycutt made a good pitch to just give up the one, and that last one the next threw. That was special. So very tough way to beat the Red Sox, but this way it had to be done today.
A's beat the Red Sox regularly. They've won 10 of 13 against Boston this season. They play again tonight, Game 2. National League playoffs tied at a game apiece after the Dodgers beat the Mets 6-3 last night. Tim Belcher the winner, David Cohn the loser. Dodgers say they were riled up over remarks Cohn made in his newspaper column he's writing during the playoffs. Cohn said his remarks were misinterpreted.
The comments that I made in the article were made in a facetious manner after a very emotional victory. In no way, shape, or form were they meant to offend anybody or be taken seriously. It's a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. I take total responsibility for the comments. Yes, I did make the comments, but they were made, as I said, in a facetious manner, and I should have had better communication with Bob Clappish.
Yes, Bob Clappish is a Daily News writer who actually writes the column.
I see.
And he should have told Clappish that he was trying to be funny, because apparently Clappish didn't think so.
Well, he said Jay Howell, the Dodger reliever who gave up those runs in the 9th when the Mets came back, looked like a high school pitcher because he kept coming with curveball, curveball, curveball.
And was somebody walking in the studio here?
Yes, Mr. Maxine's coming in.
You see, Harry, I want you to roll a tape on this because this is a moment in broadcasting history.
Rolling.
When George Maxine has actually left the office of the Daily News. What else did Cohn say, Don?
Well, he talked about the way the series stands right now, and he showed himself to be mathematically responsible when he did that.
From an overall standpoint, we're not bad. We feel pretty good, and it's 1-1, and we've got to start all over. It's like being 0-0.
I know, George. Absolutely. Certainly.
Come on over here and sit down, George.
That's all there is, boss. Ain't no more.
Well, thank you, Don Cricket. Great again to have you back from Seoul.
Great to be back. How you doing, George?
We have George Maxine here, who actually looks pretty good.
He does.
The last time I saw you, didn't look that great.
Well, I slept last night.
So why are you...
You got a room last night.
I can't believe that you're not over at the Daily News transcribing press releases instead of... No, I'm just kidding.
I hope so.
What are you doing here?
Well, it's the next to last day over here at
we don't know
30
that.
Rock. You don't know for sure?
Let me take issue with you.
Well, you're going to take issue with me. Well, I couldn't use your exact language. We're a family newspaper, so I had to clean up a few of the words.
Was I swearing when I talked with you yesterday?
I think so.
Yeah, I always swear, don't I? That's a bad thing. Well, you left out.
We had to clean up your language.
You left out Larry Kenny. who's been with me for 8 years, 9 years, and you leave him out of the
Well,
other
a
people?
lot of stuff was left out because the story was trimmed at the last minute. You won't believe it, but they put an extra ad on the page, and, you know, advertisers come first, I guess.
So, what's new in your life?
So they had to trim my story, unfortunately.
When you started out, now, before you wrote this radio column for the New York Daily News,
Well, that was Val Adams before me.
yes, he was a very good friend of mine.
Yeah,
Val
he was
Adams.
a very nice man. We called him Mr. Radio.
Val and I used to go over to Danny O's and drink. That's when I was drinking scotch and drinking all day and just get. Val Adams had my home phone number, George, something you don't have.
I think you gave it to me the last time. Maybe it's not the real one, but you did give me something.
Okay. So what did you do before you did this?
Well, you've been here 17 years, you told me.
Yeah.
You're going to miss 30 Rockefeller Plaza? It's an institution.
Yes, that's what I said yesterday. Of course I'm going to miss this building. I'm not going to miss this radio station because they've gone out of the way in the past 5 years to try to ruin this radio station, and they've done a good job of it. And then provided us with little or no support.
And now you're going to go to Astoria.
I was over there this morning.
Do you speak Greek?
You know, I drove over there this morning. In fact, if you'd have gotten up, I took my Rolls Royce with my 9X mobile phone, and I went from my apartment to the FAN studios, and I talked to Charles on the air.
You didn't want to be noticed, right?
No. This was a great radio bit that we planned yesterday. This was...
That who planned?
That I planned yesterday.
Okay.
This was a great radio. This was going to be a very humorous bit, me driving from my apartment here in Manhattan over to the Kaufman Studios in Astoria. It sucked, George. It was not funny at all.
I think it's colorful.
It was not colorful. It was nothing. It was stupid. It was one of the low points of the Imus in the Morning program.
Why are we dwelling on it?
First of all, it's not very far over there. You ever been over there?
I've been to Astoria. Yeah, I like it.
The Kaufman Studio looks like the old Paramount Studio in Hollywood. I mean, it's a big, imposing, attractive building in a well-lit area.
But you're going to make it better, right?
I don't know. We're going to be working for the Imus Broadcasting Company, one of the finest broadcasting companies in the history of radio.
That's what you say now.
Except we already hate the management there. They're already... Gumby Mason, you ever seen... what is it? You ever seen a little...
He's familiar, I'm sure, with little Gumby dolls that have the flexible limbs that you can twist and contort into all sort of...
That's what Mason looks like. So that's what we call him, Gumby Mason.
Gumby Mason.
Real name is Mark Mason, of course.
Yes, yeah, and Scott Meyer, who is a general manager, and is right out of the executive mold in that he is a backstabbing lion worm.
Oh.
Already, we're not even working for him. We already know that.
Now, what do you really think of this?
So what did you do before you wrote this radio column?
I've been at the Daily News, as I tell everybody, all my life.
You were writing, what, obituaries before this?
Well, I started out as a copy boy.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, running coffee, for people like you.
And now you're... you got people like Scott Shannon, Howard Stern, me talking about you. Pretty happy, aren't you?
Oh, well, when they stop talking about you, that's when you got to worry.
Well, Charles likes you a lot. I don't like you.
I like Charles a lot. I think the man has class. I don't know what he's doing with you.
And I hold no personal or professional regard for you. However, Charles does, and I've been with Charles for 17 years, and I have to respect his opinion, but I mean, there are cases where he's wrong.
He's a gentleman.
But I think he's wrong in this case. Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, if we go on the air Monday, I want you to listen to that show and then critique that, because the way we judge if we're doing well here on the Imus Morning program is if George Maxine, if you don't like it, we know we're on the right track.
Why are you so mean to Mr. Maxine, who's a genuinely nice man? Just because you gotta be.
Yeah, I think
somebody has to do it.
Have to be. People, they kiss his ass and they try to get in his column, and we may privately like him, but we wouldn't want to ever admit that on the air. But it is nice to see you.
But you're going to do the same show when you're on when you go to Astoria.
Shut up, George. No.
Why is Roz Frank my all-time favorite leaving? I thought yesterday you might tell me that it hasn't been decided.
All right, this is off the record.
off the record.
You are not to put this in your newspaper.
But we're telling thousands of listeners, right?
Yeah, but it's off the record so far as you're concerned, George.
It's off the record as far as you're concerned. You can't use this. But they have offered her less money for some reason. So that's the truth of the matter.
Talk to Scott Meyer, yeah.
Well, you know. By the way, I think rightly so. She was being paid way too much. By the way, that's how I really feel. So. But she may go. Who knows? But we understand we have a new.
She told me she's writing a book, the inside story.
No, she's not going to write any book because we'll have her killed. By the way, we called Bernard, our producer, called the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club yesterday, where we thought John Gotti hangs out, and we invited him on the show. But you never got to him, did you? No. Because the woman who answered the phone said, "Well, what makes you think he's here?" And she started laughing, right? Yeah. Before she hung up, right? But we have.
So you're going to get all the famous and infamous people of Queens.
Mostly infamous, yeah. We do have, for example, Matty Troy, the former borough president of Queens, right? Who wound up in jail as a result. And he's a friend of mine, and I, by the way, like him very much, and he has managed to straighten his life out in that he's not in jail now. And that's certainly an improvement. So he's going to be a guest Monday to kind of, because we need to know who to...
You left out Jimmy...
Mariano, the Weasel.
The Weasel?
What were you going to say,
Jimmy Breslin.
Jimmy Breslin.
Famous.
He's a traitor in our mind when he left the Daily News.
Right.
We no longer speak to him.
Well...
But let me check and see if Newsday happens to be a sponsor here. George, it's nice to see you.
Right, I wish you lots of luck. I'll be listening.
We want you to be sure.
As I usually do.
I want you to be sure and take Monday's show and critique that, because we want to know how we're doing.
Okay, good luck.
All right, thanks, George. It's 22 after 9. I'm Mr. Morning. George Maxion from the New York Daily News, a man who we loathe.
I don't think so at all.
Here's Charles.
The WNBC weather, mostly sunny and cool today, the high in the upper 50s. Clear, cool night ahead, 40 to 45 in the city. Partly sunny, continued cool tomorrow, upper 50s again. The outlook for Saturday, fair and more seasonable. 45 degrees, though, at the moment, 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. And that's what's happening. I'm Charles McCord, WNBC New York.
There's George Maxion, in case there's anything you want to tell him. Roz?
Mm-hmm.
What's the matter?
What?
What are you doing?
I'm writing.
It's 22 after 9. I'm Mr. Morning.
A book on you. No.
Here's Roz Frank with the latest from the WNBC Traffic and Transit Network. Good morning, Miss Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. Here's what's happening. We leave you with some very heavy traffic on the southbound New York State Thruway for 4 miles onto the Tappan Zee Bridge. That is due to right lane construction. Again, a very heavy morning at the Holland Tunnel using 19. Use the Turnpike extension. And if you're traveling into the east side, normally heavy for you, especially on the FDR Drive from the 130s all the way down to the 90s and then again into Midtown. Still delays westbound Southern State into exit 34. There's been an accident there, so do be extra careful. And a reminder that alternate side in effect in all 5 boroughs. Judy DeAngelis this afternoon, 3:40 with Alan Combs on WNBC.
$23 after 9. I'm Mr. Morning. Eric Carmen now.
I run a coat through my head and step out in the street.
NBC.
And when I look in your eyes, I go crazy. Imus in the morning, 66 WNBC.
Hi, Evel Knievel here. Some say I'm the world's all-time greatest daredevil. You remember when I jumped my motorcycle over 51 cars in the Los Angeles Coliseum? Or the time I cleared a tank of hungry man-eating sharks in Chicago? That wasn't enough. The thing that really put the most fear in my heart, my greatest challenge, was in 1974 when I tried to jump the treacherous Snake River Canyon in a sky cycle. It made the Guinness Book of World Records, and I'm real proud of it, 50 or so broken bones later. But I'll tell you what I wouldn't do, is pull a stunt on a subway or a bus, like riding between cars, or jumping from one car to another. No way, man. And you won't catch me jamming stuff between the doors. It's not like an elevator. Those doors mean business. You take it from a daredevil. Me, Evel Knievel. Some stunts are just plain stupid.
This important message brought to you by the New York City Transit Authority.
When Sears brings you a value like this, we call it a great item. Imagine a 19-inch cable-ready color TV with on-screen readout of time and channel, 17-key remote control, precise quartz tuning, and more. Now imagine all that at a price like this. Just $258. You save $91. Right now, Sears can bring you a TV with all that for $258, only through Saturday. Look for Sears' Great Item stamp of approval, now at Sears.
Jimmy Breslin just switched to New York Newsday from the Daily News.
I began to notice that New York Newsday was getting stories that no one else was going to have that day, and getting them by the only way you can get them, by walking, climbing, driving, roaming the landscape, and coming up with things that do not come from official sources. You're looking for completeness of coverage. There's no question that New York Newsday is the paper that's doing that the best, and I came for that reason.
Jimmy Breslin switched to New York Newsday. How about you?
You can ride with the wind when you're one with the road. You can feel every move. You're in control. Just a touch of the wheel, and the power is yours. It's the look and the feel, the one that's for real. It's the new spirit. Gotta be the spirit of God. It's the new spirit.
You'll find it at the heart of every car and truck we build. And you'll find it in yourself every time you take the wheel. It's the new spirit of performance. It's the new spirit of Dodge.
If you love the taste of smooth milk chocolate and light crispy wafers, there's only one thing to say.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break. Give me a break. Pick me up a piece of that Kit Kat bar. You can keep it to yourself, but it wouldn't be fair, 'cause that chocolate crispy taste is loved everywhere. Give me a break. Give me a break. Pick me up a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
9:30, Imus in the morning. Do you know George Maxon?
Yeah, I noticed you sucking up to him earlier.
We're not sucking up to him. We had him on the air.
I know.
So
You
he's
want to make
standing
it
right
very
here now.
important to you that you get good press. I understand how important that is to you.
You're not going to get good press from George. You know, George, you could do Alan a favor, and because Alan's going to be out of work here soon. Or have you gotten a job yet?
You know, you don't have to ask me every hour on the hour about this. I don't have something new to say every time you ask me this question.
Because I remember when you were at WABC in the morning.
Yeah.
And I thought you did a great show.
How did you listen to me?
Well, I didn't listen, nor did anyone else, which is the part of the problem. But you've been great since you've been here, and you and I have become close friends, though you're a communist.
That's lovely, thank you. And I'm sure Dan Quayle reaffirmed your belief in republicanism last night.
No. Well, I think Lloyd Benson proved last night it was that he is vicious and mean enough.
Not vicious and mean.
To do this show. Because because the Jack Kennedy remark was totally unwarranted. It was just a mean.
Was it unwarranted?
Of course it was.
Where does Dan Quayle come up comparing himself to John Kennedy?
He wasn't comparing himself to John Kennedy. He was pointing out that he had like legislative experience, and he was about the same age.
Yeah.
He certainly, even as foolish as Dan Quayle is, wasn't pretending to be of the stature of Jack Kennedy, who by the way, was considered by a lot of people to just be a good-looking rich kid whose father had a lot of money and was running for president in 1960. But it's in the past 30 years he's taken on a greater stature than he had at that time. So I think that's what Quayle meant, and you know what he meant. No, but what Benson said is what I would have said.
Yeah, well,
I thought that was a great remark.
Well, Benson was superb last night.
You communist.
I'm not a communist because I think Benson was good. Benson's a conservative Democrat. I'm a communist?
Yes, you are.
Anybody who disagrees with you is a communist.
You know, you are
neo-Nazi.
Are you a neo-Nazi?
Yeah, you're a neo-Nazi.
Thank you. You're reprehensible.
What color are your sheets?
Well, they happen to be white.
But I
don't think that has a lot to do with anything. So you're having a Hell's Angels on today.
Well, I want to make friends with the right people before this thing ends.
First of all, you're one of the few people who's not better off now than you were 8 years ago. Because 8 years ago you had a job. But now you don't have a job. So I don't blame you for wanting to vote for Mike Dukakis.
8 years ago you were in Cleveland.
No, I wasn't. I was here.
All right.
So I've been doing fine. I keep doing better.
Yeah, well.
And you're not. But you should be, because I think I do like you, and I think you're very bright, and I think you're very funny. Even though you've stolen your entire act from Howard Stern.
Yeah, right.
You have all the same guests he does.
Oh, you heard about that, huh?
In fact, sometimes even when I listen, I think it's Howard. I listen to you. Except you're not talking about your penis, and I, having seen your penis, I don't blame you for not talking about it. Because
and why did you decide to look at my penis that time in the men's room?
Anyway, you're having a Hell's Angels on today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I thought I told you no more pictures. Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! I'm just posing for the guy. And how many pictures do you have to take? You justify photo editors on with somebody else. Anyway, thanks a lot. Is that all you need? Okay, get out.
You're a beautiful man.
It's 9:34. Imus in the morning here with Alan Combs.
Yeah.
And, what were we talking about?
Well, we're talking about, Pete Hamill had the best line on this debate.
Yeah, okay.
When Quayle was saying about how what books he read.
Right.
Don't tell me he wasn't prepped for that question. I think he read the book Jackets. And he mentioned Richard Nixon's book, and Hamill said that a politician citing Richard Nixon's book is kind of like a businessman citing as one of his influences wise guy named Nick Pileggi.
I don't think anybody, including me, who, by the way, is not a Quayle supporter. I mean, I think he's
he's too far left to you.
I think he's very weak, and he, in fact, he's embarrassing even as a human being.
Yeah.
But I thought he did okay. He didn't take his.
I like these spin doctors. Well, he was breathing.
Well, that was about all he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't declare war, and he didn't expose himself.
Well, in that case, I guess he won, didn't he?
And no, but neither did Lloyd Bentsen. Lloyd Bentsen proved that he could make a vicious, mean-spirited remark.
It wasn't mean-spirited.
Other than that, Lloyd Bentsen is a thieving, crooked old 67-year-old Texan.
Who are you going to vote for?
I don't think that's any of your concern.
Who are you going to vote for?
Mr. Pinko. You're having a Hell's Angels on today.
Yeah.
Aren't they all in jail?
Not the ones we're having on.
Which ones are you having on?
Well, I didn't,
Who's going to be here?
We have like three of them.
Do you know their names?
I don't have their names in front of me, but what do their names matter?
Well, it could be Sandy Alexander.
No, Sandy's in jail.
I know Sandy's in jail.
Yeah.
I know Sandy's.
Yeah, Sandy's in jail.
So why are you having them on?
I want to make sure that I'm aligned with the right personnel before I depart. I want to make sure I have the right people around me.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
You really are. You're an idiot.
Why am I an idiot?
The difference between you and Howard Stern is that you are educated and you have a larger vocabulary, and that's basically it. There's no difference. You guys even sound alike. And you're going to have Jim Morris on this, who you've had on 1,000,000 times, and this guy is tedious.
He's not tedious. He's very funny. The impressionist, Jim Morris, is very funny.
I understand he does Reagan, and he's going to be out of business here in 3 months.
No, he does other people, too.
Well, who else does he do?
I don't have to sit here and defend every guest I have on.
I'm not asking. I'm asking
and be accused by you of stealing from somebody.
I'm asking you to promote the guest.
Promote my guest. You can bring in here to promote me. You bring me in here to denigrate my guest, denigrate my show, and accuse me of stealing.
And in fact, you're stealing from me because Howard and every other little punk in radio has ripped me off.
What have I done to steal from anybody?
So he ripped me off, and then you rip him off.
When's the last time you listened to me?
Honestly?
Yeah.
When you had Judy DeAngelis on, she was like doing a Robin Givens number or whatever. Robin.
Oh, yeah, I guess you could also say, I use a microphone and you want to.